Ready, sir? Uh, yes, sir. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go, sir.
Hi, hello everyone who are all online. This is Professor Ujjwal Chowdhury, currently the head of School of Media of Pearl Academy. We have two campuses for media in Delhi and in Bombay, and I supervise the operations of media education in both places. I had the opportunity to first work as Dean of Symbiosis Media School, Amity Media School Mumbai, and also the Dean of Whistlingwood School of Communication. Often, I find a lot of queries with respect to creative careers, specifically in respect to media. There has been a surge in interest among youth on media education. So I have with me Miss Mahima, who will represent sort of your voice. She has those questions. She has done a bit of survey among her friends. She has the questions with her, and I would look forward to answer them to the best of my ability. Over to you, Mahima.
So, hi sir, I have a long list of questions actually.
No issues.
So, the first question goes here, like the youth these days are overbeat about media and communication careers. So, is the industry large and growing enough for the engagement of these careers?
That's a normal question, yes. Many a time, a youngster is very interested in media and communication, but the parents are not convinced. Many a time, even young people who have the desire to be in communication themselves are not clear whether the industry is large enough, whether there is enough scope there. So, therefore, my answer in this context first is, why do youngsters want to come into media? Either they are people's persons, or they want to avoid the drudgery of repetitive work in life. They want to do things which are exciting, which are of imagination, which engage them with the society at large. So those are the usual thoughts. Now, as far as the industry is concerned, the only singular, believable or trustworthy survey that comes out about India's media, communication, entertainment industry is every year in the month of February, March. This time it is 5th to 7th March. It's called FICCI Frames. FICCI Frames happens in Bombay, usually in Renaissance Hotel. I think this time it is in Hyatt. And there sort of a status report on India's media industry comes. The last report says that this is around 1.5 lakhs crores industry. Roughly, if I can go, roughly around $20 billion. $20 billion would not make it very clear in your mind what is exactly the size. $20 billion industry actually is 1.3% of India's GDP. So for every 100 rupees of Indian economy, 1 rupee 30 paisa comes from media and entertainment. And this engages more than 10 lakhs youngsters directly in the media, entertainment, communication industry. Almost a 1 million youth. I must also note here, while the Indian economy has been fluctuating between 5 and 8% growth rate over the last few years, 7-8 years, the minimum has been 5 and the maximum has been 7.8 or something. Currently it's a little above 6. But media, entertainment and communication industry year on year growth has always been little higher than the India's GDP growth. So at this point of time it's around 9%. So that's another good news. Every year at least 50,000 to 1 lakh youngsters join this industry. The issue is, what type of people are required in the industry? But to answer to your question, industry is reasonably large. Almost a million youngsters are there. And there is also addition of at least a lakh, sometimes 70,000, sometimes 60,000 new people. Depends on certain economic situations as well. So it's quite large, and particularly in the digital sector, the growth has been more than 25%. In brand communication in general, there has been reasonable growth. Print, some stunted growth is there, but digital, on-ground, activation, these are the areas where the growth is quite sharp. Any other thing would you like to ask?
Yeah, so do you think this industry have changed something in our education system or so?
You want to mean what sort of impact has it brought in education of media? Yes. When my father would have studied media, I mean, he was a doctor, by the way, he passed away, that's another issue, but when he was, suppose he was a media student in his young days, there would have been, perhaps, the focus would have been largely print media. So print media, there would have been a bit of television, but that was largely Doordarshan, a bit of radio, that was All India Radio, and traditional cinema, not the digital one.
Yeah.
In my times, there was this big debate. You study journalism for print or for television? There was also a big debate. You study media for news or for entertainment? Hardly the discussion hovered around brand communication. That was the factor in my times. But I am on the wrong side of 50. In your times, these differences are actually obliterating. They are going away. So you study media and communication first. So that's an integrated format. And there you specialize in one of the three areas. Either medium of information, or media of entertainment, or media of brand communication. One of the three. Even within information, that's journalism, there is further specialization. Specialization by focus areas like political journalism, business journalism, development journalism, sports, entertainment, fashion.
Yeah.
These are by focus areas. And there could also be by the platform. So print, television, radio, and online. I must note here, increasingly, this platform differentiation will be completely abolished. So you will be media neutral, platform neutral, or platform agnostic multimedia journalist. So you are a political journalist or an entertainment journalist, but you will be reporting for print, television, internet, and radio, all the four going ahead. So that's the biggest impact on learning of media today. You cannot afford to study only one platform or only one communication. You need to study all before you specialize in one.
So, sir, actually this question everyone has, that Pearl is mainly into fashion. It is known for fashion designing. So how has the media education ecosystem being built up here?
Yes, natural. With respect to Pearl, in this context, natural. We were talking more largely in the context of the whole industry, the whole country's scenario in media. Now, with respect to Pearl, for the last 25 years, this institute has been built up brick by brick. And today, it is the leading brand of fashion and design education in the country. Globally also, the top 2 or 3, among first top 2 or 3 media and design, fashion and design colleges from India, Pearl is there. Now, the point that is to be noted, even in fashion, how do you know something is fashion? How do you know something is good fashion? How do you know something is attractive fashion? Only when it is communicated. Only when it is communicated. So the environment of media and communication was already there in Pearl. We have some of the finest photographic labs, studios in the country at Pearl, even much before the media courses were started. We already have been using the broadcast quality equipments for shooting as well.
Yeah, as we have the fashion media communication course also.
Yeah, there is the fashion media communication course, which is a very well settled brand. So therefore, the communication ecosystem, I like the word that you used, ecosystem was already existing. The issue was, this ecosystem was being utilized for a particular purpose. The purpose was fashion branding, fashion communication. Now it is being utilized for furthermore, many more. So Pearl today, in a natural extension, and there was a survey, by the way, around 7-8 months ago, there was a survey in which a few hundred youths across India were questioned by the survey organizing team as to what should be the next logical extension of Pearl's education, and almost 92% or more have talked about media and communication. So that's a natural extension in a creative institute which specializes in design and fashion to extend into media and communication. So we have now 3 pathways. One pathway is medium, or rather communication of journalism, communication of entertainment. Journalism is irrespective of the platform, online, on air, that is radio and TV, and offline, that is print, all together. Then communication of entertainment, films, television, radio, live entertainment, all of this. Web entertainment, web series is a big. In fact, all our courses have a decided digital focus. And the third is brand communication, which incorporates advertising, branding, marketing communication, public relations, corporate communications, experiential marketing or events, all of this. So this is how we are building up our ecosystem here.
So what exactly are the areas covered under media and communication, and do they mean the same for you? Like
I've just now been mentioning that to some extent, that that the ones that the three broad areas are communication of information, communication of entertainment, communication of branding. So broadly these three.
Yeah.
Within each of them there is medium focused attention or subject or theme focused attention. Medium focused is basically online, offline, on air, on ground and on mobile. This is the medium focus. But increasingly all the medium have to be learned. And the focus has to be on online, because online is the sort of the mother medium. All medium are converging there, integrating there. But as far as the specialization is concerned, you may have your own specialization. You may feel like doing it in political journalism or business journalism. You may have why journalism. If someone is studying entertainment, can focus on reality shows only, can focus on travel shows only, travel programs only. And similarly in brandcom, someone can be focused on health branding, someone can be focused on destination branding. So those focus areas comes at a matured level when you've understood the basics. Keep having your coffee as well before it gets cold. So therefore these are the broad areas that you were asking.
So in what way do you think that Pearl has a different model than other universities or other colleges?
Yeah, that could be another relevant question as far as the new education is concerned here. Most institutes of media and communication in the country are a single communication focused institute. Without taking names, because that's not a good culture, some are purely advertising colleges or branding colleges, branding courses. Some are purely, let's say, journalism institute or journalism driven institute. Some are purely film and television. Even in the name, the film and television comes. Would like to say we are a convergent multimedia media and communication school which focuses on the digital medium more. And there is a overall grounding which leads to specialization as well. Whereas I must also mention, we have post-graduation courses 1 year which are completely specialization driven, but it is not for everyone. Suppose you have done your graduation in media and communication, or someone has done in, let's say, film and television, someone has done in some other field, let's say advertising, and doesn't want to do this entire thing and then go into specialization. They have an option in our PG directly to join laterally in the second year or the senior batch. And they just focus on either journalism or entertainment or brandcom. But for the regular or general graduates, 2 years masters is compulsory. For the general 12 pass, the 3 years graduation is compulsory. So the 3 years would introduce all the areas before any specialization comes. Similarly, the 2 years masters, one year will be common to all. Only in the second year there will be the specialization.
So as you told, you have been the Dean of Symbiosis,
But before, sorry, I'm extremely sorry. You also asked how is Pearl education different from other institutes. So one is convergence to specialization. The other is specialization only for those who are already studied media. But apart from that, we have 6 months of portfolio, practical and industry focused semester in our post-graduation. 6 months long, the last semester, completely focused on creating an industry ready portfolio. Normally internship or projects are done very casually. I mean, some institutes do internship reasonably well, but mostly the projects are not live projects, not real life projects, not from a client. It is usually a college magazine, lab journal. It is usually a small film that you do in the college. Those will be done at the initial stage, no doubt. But the last 6 months must have industry ready portfolio. Films that can go in international competitions. A market survey done for an ad agency. A documentary that must be commissioned by a channel. Ad campaign of an ad agency in which our particular student is completely integrated from A to Z, from start to end. Unless you do such projects, you will exactly not know how the industry works, how the industry behaves. Simulated situations Practicals on campus are great as a learning part, but they do not exactly reflect the toil, the sweat, the toughness, the harshness of the field, and even the pleasure of it also, the fun of it also, the enjoyment of it also. So therefore, there has to be, so that's a big difference. We are integrated with several companies. Everyone tells we have a relationship with the industry, but our integration is institutionalized, systematized. So one has to do projects which are given by the industry. One has to have the board of studies completely by industry scholars who come and does workshops here, who gives, they're the iconic partners. Organizations are iconic partners. There are modules which are branded with certain media organization or the other. So, for example, XYZ company brings to you investigative journalism module.
Yeah.
ABC company brings to you a module on market research. So, a big name in market research. Consciously, I'm avoiding the names just now because, I mean, there are several organizations associated. If I just tell one or two, it's not right. But more than 15 organizations are involved in developing branded modules, iconic partners, and specific projects. So that's another difference of Pearl with other media schools.
So we have one question from Amar Singh. He wants to know the difference between media science and mass communication.
Very nice, appreciate. These are terminologies used at different levels. Mass communication was used when communication was one to many, mass one to many. So television, radio, newspaper were traditional mass media. But with the coming in of social media, these differences are going away. For example, Amar Singh has asked, right?
Yeah.
Amar, I'm answering to you. For example, you are on Facebook and you are chatting on Facebook with your friend. That is one-to-one communication. Others are not having a look at that. Then you are on Facebook where you have given a post which only your friends can see. That's a group communication. You have given another post which any public can see. That's a mass communication. So finally, mass, group or one-to-one communication, they are all merging. So therefore, this mass comm word is an old 20th century concept before internet, before social media came. So increasingly the mass comm word is losing its charm. Globally, the mass comm word has been dropped from the names of degrees. In India, it's still continuing in many universities because of our university system changes slowly, though we are happy that we can change faster. But being an internationally acclaimed and internationally accredited institute, but otherwise, this mass comm thing is going on. And media science is basically looking at technologies. So you have the broadcasting technology use power capacity. You have sound recording technological capacity. You use certain softwares. You're good at that. So a scientific and technological bent of media was known to be media science. And that's still more, what should I say, sensible way of telling. But I would say media and communication. So media is the platform. Offline platform is newspaper, magazine, outdoor and all. Online platform is your social media, internet, digital, all. On air platform is your radio and television, and on ground platform events, ground activation, all that. And on mobile platform, everything is there on the mobile, from video to audio to print, everything comes. So these are the media platforms. And what is communication? Communication are the functions. Either you are informing your audience, we are trying to discuss, and this is an information platform, or you are educating the audience, or this is also a sort of education, or you are entertaining the audience. A few days ago, I had a great participation of Bollywood music project in Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. So that's entertainment.
Yeah.
That's entertainment. Or you are trying to persuade the audience. Persuading the audience is with respect to, for example, when you bring in behavioral change. So you buy this cup of coffee for 20 rupees in college cafeteria. Same cup of coffee becomes 140 rupees in CCD or barista. How does it move from 20 to 120? That is where the branding comes.
And
so
it is 500 in Starbucks.
Come on, that high?
Yeah.
The last time I had, I think it was slightly lesser. Only 500 is mind blowing. You can have a film, and a popcorn, and a coffee, all the three with 500. But still, people are going. So obviously, there is enough of retention. What should I say? There is enough of attraction that is built towards Starbucks. So that's branding. So branding creates a positioning in the mind of the consumer. That, how is that positioning created? This is made in factory. The moment I say, so this is what? It's a watch. What does it do? It keeps time. The moment I say it's swatch, you have an image in your mind of a Swiss watch. So that journey from a watch to a swatch is brand communication. That you do with advertising, with public relations, with events, with digital communication. All this together, you create that brand. So that's the other form of communication. Yeah. So my friend, to conclude, whether it's media science, mass comm, or media and communication, all three are the same. But mass comm is obsolete, media science is more technology oriented, and media and communication is more content and creativity oriented, where media is platform and communication is function. Clear?
So sir, he has another question.
Yes.
He's asking that what is media science careers?
I mean, broadly, anything that brings communication work is your career. So, you can be a public relations officer with an organization, either a corporate organization or a government organization or an NGO or whatever. Second, you can be an advertising professional with an agency or consultancy, where you create brands, you create creatives, you do market research, you understand what positioning the brand must have. Or you become a journalist, and journalist could be either in print or in television or in radio or in the internet, or you might even blend all the three. Today, Rajdeep Sardesai is an anchor on television, is a journalist on television, he goes to the streets to shoot stories as well. He is also a writer. He is also writing in, I think, HT or somewhere, a column. And he is also in indiatoday.com, his stories are there as well. So he is simultaneously working for multiple media. So either you be a journalist, or you be a brand guy, or you be an entertainer. Make films, produce television shows, produce radio programs. So you can be an entertainer as well. So one of the three could be your task areas.
Yeah. So we have another question by Nishant. He's saying I have done BMS. So what are the career options in media?
One first part of the question again?
We have done BMS.
Okay, you have done Bachelor's of Media Studies or Media Sciences, whatever you call. I think from Bombay, right? 72 colleges in Bombay have BMS to the last information that I have. BMS largely has been overview of media. So it's an overview. So for the first 2 years, you haven't actually specialized. You studied entire domain of media and communication, and if I'm not wrong, if you have done it from Bombay University, then it has got sprinkling of sociology, political science, economics and English literature as well. Only in the third year, if I'm not wrong, you have done some specialization, either journalism or film and TV or advertising, one of the three. But if I'm again not wrong, this specialization is not as in-depth as it should ideally for preparing you for the industry. Because this was more at undergraduate level. You just have come out of 12th and then got an overview of the whole subject, then a glimpse of one specialization. So in our case, our 2 years master's course will become 1 year for you, because you've already done your media, the grounding of media is already there. You've done a media graduation. So you will do 1 year only. Now depending on what specialization you want, I just told a little earlier, there are 3 specializations: journalism across all media, brand communication, or entertainment. You select one of the 3 and we have a career for you. For 1 full year, you will have a rigorous training in one of the 3 that you select. It's your choice. Obviously, you have to go through the admission process first to get selected, and then the admission process to get claim scholarship if you want, because we now are giving 50% cut on our tuition fee if a particular level of score is scored in our admission test. And the next admission test for PG is on 24th February. If you're from Bombay, you can go over to Pearl Academy, Andheri, our campus there at Marol, Marol metro station. Yes, just next to the metro station. And you can inquire, or you can come online and do it, fill up online the form and appear for the 24th February exam. So if you score more than 50% in the admission test, you get 50% tuition fee waiver, which is a big scholarship in fact. And otherwise, even if you get less than 50% but above 33%, you get selected for admission. So that could be your way, your journey, but specialization is on you. We don't tell what specialization you take. But once you have decided on the specialization, you have to go much deeper than what you have done in graduation. Much deeper. For example, I'll give an example. Suppose you have done advertising specialization in the 3rd year of your graduation, but the specialization will bring in multimedia convergent education, advertising or digital advertising, which may not have been the part of your graduation course. For example, social media marketing, which may not have been the part of your graduation course. How do you build brands without using advertising? So non-advertising, word of mouth, viral based branding. So that's not usually the part of graduation education. So this education will be more hands-on, with examples which are just now in the marketplace, with faculty who are coming from the industry. That is the big difference that you would have. And 6 months, the last 6 months, 5 months roughly, are given to only creating your portfolio, your projects. That you, and only with live projects. So you have to have, I mean, we'll be helping you out on that, getting you the right connects, getting you the right projects, but you'll have to have live projects given by organizations from the industry. And that leads you to the job. Last place, internship will be there, and along with the internship, the job. Or rather, beyond the internship will be the job. So that's post-graduation for you, only 1 year education, completely focused rather than diverting your attention in multiple areas. Any other question?
Yes, sir. So you have been the Dean of Amity, Symbiosis, then Whistling Woods. So how is your experience different in Pearl?
I had great time in the other 3 institutions, particularly Symbiosis and Whistling Woods. I had great time. Whistling Woods is founded by Subhas Ghai. I mean, he is a very loving man. Every time he used to meet and give a jadoo ka jhappi, and that was like very encouraging, very inspiring, very nice. And the best part in the Whistling Wood I had is the film school, and I started the communication school. So today Whistling Wood is not known just as a film school, but it is known more. In fact, number of students are more in communication now than films as well. So that's a great experience and great achievement I had, and I had really good time there. Symbiosis, I had the longest period of time. I was a working journalist, then a PR consultant, and from there I became an academic. 7 long years in 2 terms I spent in Symbiosis. So my current whatever little name or claim to fame in media education is actually from Symbiosis time onwards. So I have a lot of respect for the 2 organizations that have worked. But having told that, this place, what we are now creating the institute, is for the future, is futuristic, is digital, is based on that technology and that perspective that is now sweeping the world. So people are moving from traditional means of communication. Rather, what was the communication? I am telling you are listening. There is no more the question of I am telling you are listening. It is like interactive. I have to engage you. This engagement phenomenon is changing completely the nature of communication. Completely the nature of communication. That is what you have to say, understand, and this engaging communication is what is to be understood and taken into training. The second big thing, Pearl is an international organization. Pearl is a part of a multi-nation, multi-institution laureate international. So large part of our component is through online resources, video conferencing, people coming from abroad. I mean, just the next few days, a large number of institutions from UK are represented by their senior professionals in design and fashion who are coming on campus. Similar will be the case with media. Today morning only I have just finalized Professor Stephen Quinn, a very big name in mobile journalism globally, based out of UK now, as a part of our board of studies. So he will be visiting once in a year. So this is the internationality of Pearl is a major part. Then the industry involvement. In every institute, whether I have been there earlier or whichever are running, they do invite industry people for guest lectures and workshops. But what we do is make industry organizations our partners on paper. So iconic partners. Branded modules, people coming and taking the whole module, back to back. This sort of engagement is very rare. So these are some of the new things that we are trying here. So my experience has been great. I've just been 1 month plus here. There's this concept of positive leadership that has been brought in. So every day we find reasons how to thank someone. Now we have this gratitude walls all around the campus, where we put stickers, whether it's someone at the reception or it's someone even, let's say, a security guard or a student or a colleague, something good, write it, put it up there. This whole ambience of positivism, of laughter, of energy is something which I'm enjoying a lot.
So sir, any suggestion you want to give to the aspiring journalist like me?
Okay, only for journalism?
Yeah.
Okay. Chalo, just a minute. Let me check if there is any question on my WhatsApp line as well. Just a minute. I could have. Yes. Yes. I have been asked about scholarships on my timeline, on my WhatsApp by someone. I'd like to say pearlacademy.com. You should visit pearlacademy.com, Pearl, pearlacademy.com. Go there, you'll find the entire information on media scholarship. First time ever in the history of 25 years of Pearl. And this is one of the great gifts to the youngsters on the 25th year by Pearl. 50% scholarship on tuition fee is being given for incoming media and communication students. So if you could go there, find the details, and then go for the 24th February admission test. There will be one more admission test later in April as well, but those who can afford afford the time can give the test just now. Having said that, as per answer to that, your question, aspiring journalists.
Yeah.
Number one, be genuinely interested in people. If you're not interested in people, if you snoff, if you have a snobbish attitude, you can never be a journalist. Journalist first criteria, love people around you. That could be the maid in your house to the president of the country, but whatever. Love meeting people, one. Two, don't be swayed by your situation, good or bad, anything. Don't be swayed. There has to be a smile on the face to strike, break ice and strike a chord with people, but that doesn't mean you get swayed. Someone is speaking very sweet of you and you get swayed. Someone has used some critical point and you get angry. You cannot afford to be that.
Yeah.
But this is on the one part. Physically strong, interested to go any part of the country, any part of the city as required, as the work requires. But these are very soft things, but going beyond, what's very significant, today's journalists, not all, I have some of my friends as editors and journalists who are extremely good researchers. I have some of my ex-students, I can mention Prashant Nanda of Mint and a few other ex-students who are extraordinary in research. Anyone they are interviewing or writing about, they will do 5 hours of research for a 30 minutes of interview. So much of research they do. So research is something that journalists, usually young journalists, are avoiding. Either they are hard pressed for time or by nature they think, and then therefore they end up asking very ordinary and very scratchy, superficial questions. So research, research and research. In journalism, as Vidya Balan says, entertainment, entertainment and entertainment. And the third and the last thing, digital. Be digital savvy. Your journalism is no more 2000 words journalism. Your journalism can be 150 characters journalism on Twitter. It can be a 60 words journalism in shorts. It can be a 150 words journalism in a news portal. It can be a 80 words or 90 words journalism in a short television story. It can be a long story of 2000 words as well. So the ability to tell the same story from 150 characters to 2000 words, this is the crucial ability in content generation, content development as a journalist. Then there's the other side of journalism, content management, editing, production, management, which requires more technical skills, the command over the language. As a reporter, the command is little less is fine. But an editor cannot afford to have less command over the language. So that's another aspect. I would say an Indian aspiring journalist like you should be trilingual. So you're good in Hindi?
Yeah.
You're good in English?
Yeah.
Which is the third language you're good in? Now you have to think over. So if you're in Delhi, you should be good in Punjabi or Urdu, either of the two. If you're in Bengal, then Bengali. If you're in Tamil Nadu, if someone is in Maharashtra, a few minutes ago, someone asked from Bombay, should be knowing Marathi. You cannot be snobbish. You are talking of people, and people speak in multiple languages. People believe multiple customs. You cannot have one track mind. It has to be flexible. It has to be, something that reflects the public aspirations, something that can easily understand people. And you can only easily understand people when you speak in their language, when you strike a chord with them, and that's an ability. That's not easy.
So, sir, we have one question from Neelam Jain.
Okay.
So, she is
Hi,
asking
Neelam.
that is this good course for a science student, and if it is, then why?
What is the basic quality of a science student? If you have done sciences, I don't know whether you have done up to 12th or graduation, I would not know that from the question. Science means logical thinking, rational thinking, believing based on facts. This is the scientific temper, right? Basic. Now that's fundamental to journalism as well. Logical thinking, rational thinking, believing in facts, drawing conclusion only from facts and not fiction. So WhatsApp University is not your source of information. Your source of information is actually going to grounds and talking to multiple people, counter opinions. So scientific bent of mind is a great quality for journalism. Point one. Point two, communication of entertainment is about imagination. Imagination doesn't drop from the sky. It also has a reality. Either there is a technology used to put your imagination in practice. So Harry Potter cannot be there unless there is an extraordinary command over the softwares used for producing a film on Harry Potter, on producing computer generated images, CGI. So therefore, knowledge of technology is crucial in producing entertainment content today. So if someone comes, why science? If someone comes from engineering background, and I must tell that, in my Symbiosis and Whistling Wood stint, I had several, in fact in some batch more than 50% students of audiovisual, that is film and television, were BTech graduates. And I used to ask them, "Are BTech karke engineer ho gaye, so why are you coming for becoming a filmmaker or a television producer?" Then they used to say, BTech क्या माँ बाप के लिए, अब फिल्म प्रोड्यूसर होना है, फिल्म डायरेक्टर होना है या टेलीविजन प्रोड्यूसर होना है अपने लिए. So the point what, and parents were happy. Chalo, my son is or my daughter is at least engineer. Now they come with a lot of logical way of thinking, a lot of affinity towards technology. Someone who is not from science has to really endeavor, has to really struggle to create that affinity towards technology. And I must tell those who are listening, please understand, technology is your partner. It's not that under pressure you do technology. Technology is your natural partner. You can tell the story better. What is finally media and communication? It's all about storytelling. Either you tell a story of facts, that's journalism, story of imagination, that's filmmaking, or story of fiction also or sometimes facts and fiction together, that's for branding. So whatever it is, it's storytelling. And storytelling would be much better if you are technologically savvy. If you are technologically savvy, if you know the use of animation, if you know the use of graphics, if you know how images, sounds and movements, moving images can be clubbed together, can be merged. So technology, science, scientific bent of mind are great assets if you are in media and communication. And no knowledge, no learning is ever wasted. There is science communication, there is science journalism, there is technology journalism, there is technology branding. Today, for example, a hardcore technology company will not appoint a public relation officer if the person doesn't have a science and technology branding easily. So this is another point, and your science background is an asset.
Okay, sir. So for aspiring a film and TV professional, any suggestion you want to give?
Okay, now that is from journalism to film and television. Yeah. Do you have the power of imagination? So when as a child, the filmmaker of tomorrow, for them I'm asking, when as a child, when you told the first lie to your mother, did she believe in you? If she has believed, wow. If she hasn't, forget filmmaking. The first thing is, can you convincingly tell a story? That story may or may not have a base on reality. Usually, stories are taken from reality and then a lot of things are added up to make it cinematic language. In cinematic language, a lot of creative liberties are taken and all that. Now don't ask me about Padmavati, that's another time. So coming back, so if you are in film and television, ability to tell story interestingly, ability to engage people's attention, that's the first thing. Second thing, do you understand the duality of audio and video? No story can be told easily and to the best of impact only by sound, though sound itself is also an independent medium, like radio, the theater of imagination. But again, no story can be told only by use of visuals without using sound, though I understand a photograph speaks 1,000 words. I do understand that. But having told that, when you marry audio and video, that's the best way of format of telling story. So do you understand the value of sound and video? Do you understand, for example, if I ask you a question, a child comes back from school weeping, And the mother says, why are you weeping? Are you hungry? No, no, I had my tiffin. That's not the point. My classmates all tease me. Well, why? They tell, we all have our fathers and they come in the parents' day and all. Your father never comes. So only your mother comes. So you don't have a father. You're a fatherless guy. And they're teasing me. And then the mother starts singing a song. Yes, whatever. We don't know from the song whether she is a widow or she is divorced, or we don't know. So she starts singing a song telling the child, I am your father, I am your mother. Because I do this, and I do this. And by the time the whole song goes on, she is cleaning up the child, she is feeding the child and puts the child. As the song ends, the child is sleeping and tears rolling down from the eyes of the mother. If this is the whole sequence, what are the visuals that we will see? If I ask you this question in an admission test, for those who want to become filmmakers and television producers, I'm telling them, if I ask you this question in the admission test, and please understand this is what type of question or visualization practice that you will have to do. Most 9 out of 10 students or candidates would start telling, पहले बच्चा आएगा, मम्मी ये पूछेगी, बच्चा ये कहेगा, फिर मम्मी ये पूछेगी, फिर बच्चा ये कहेगा. You are all talking in terms of audio. Nobody is talking in terms of video. Nobody is telling when the child is telling this, what is happening in the video. Nobody is telling when the mother is singing this line, what is happening in the video. That means from our childhood, we are told to think in terms of words, not in terms of visuals. So we say beautiful, but we can't express beautiful in a visual. We say angry, but we can't express angry in a visual. Because we are taught in terms of words. Do you get the point?
Yeah.
So the biggest quality of a storyteller on audiovisual is to think visually and not through words. Words come later for them. Is the visual and the sound that should come earlier. So can you think visually? Or are you ready to learn it visually? So you'll have to reinvent your childhood, man. You have to go back and write an essay on your family, and this time not by words, but by visuals. You have to redo that thing. So I remember, and that's a good anecdote, and with that we can move to the next question.
Yeah.
I had a very good student, ex-student, and she is a fabulous lady today. I have no hesitation, it's a very good story, so I can tell her name, Nivedita Basu. She was the creative director of Balaji Telefilms. She was the lady behind all those many serials that you know, and currently she has her own production house and all, films and large events, televised events and all. So Nivedita otherwise was not interested in most of the education thing, but in audiovisual lectures she was very keen, and she used to sit at the back in every lecture. In audiovisual she used to come in the front, but in all other lectures also, whatever was being discussed, she used to express that through visuals. And I used to ask, what goes in your mind when something is being discussed? Well, how would this whole environment look visually? So I used to draw that. And a fabulous way of even answering question papers in the exams, less of words and more of visuals. And with just sketches, rough sketches. So he had a good hand, and the thinking visually was very explained. So I used to tell that there might be some issues at times of class decorum, but then you are extraordinary in thinking visually. So this is an ability that you must have. You must really have the ability of thinking. And affinity to technology again, picking up camera, learning it quickly, picking up editing, learning it quickly, understanding computer generated images with live images, how they blend together, how they converse together. So these are the other things that you need to know. Film and television producer. Obviously in today's time, it's not enough to know technology and imagination. It's also important to know the business side of it. Please understand, whatever happened to Padmavati is going to make 600 crores plus. The expense was not even 180 crores. Please understand. So there is much more than what meets the eyes.
So, okay, last few questions. So, for aspiring advertising and PR professionals now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, good. It's a balanced thing. You ask for journalism because you are getting into journalism. You ask for film and television because your friend is getting into that. And then advertising and PR. Advertising and PR is not just about creativity. It's about creating the brand which sells in the market. At the end of the day, if your creative is genius, that's fine. But did it sell? Did it make money? So that's the big difference that you have from pure filmmaking and ad filmmaking, and it becomes tougher. For a pure film, you have got 150 minutes to make people smile, weep, love, dance, whatever. But in case of ad filmmaking, you have just 30 seconds to tell the story, make an impact, to make them feel wow, and then go out and buy it. That's the biggest challenge. So it's tougher. Please understand, it's quite tough. But having said that, if you are a genius, if you are a creative genius, if you believe, first of all, start with that belief. I do believe that I am the best media educator in the country. One has to believe in yourself. If you do believe that you can be an advertising genius, if you start with that belief, then you will reach somewhere. Then you will reach somewhere. Because if there is no self-belief, no amount of talking by or counseling or pep talk by anyone can make you believe in yourself. पहले तो अपने आप को प्यार करो, दूसरे और लोग तुम्हें प्यार करने के पहले. So you need to have self-belief. That's the first point in advertising, because advertising is a completely, much more than journalism and other areas, television production, all completely unpredictable thing. You start with 10,000 rupees in creative work in an ad agency. One campaign goes great, and 10,000 becomes 1 lakh overnight. And there are examples. I can give many examples. You start with a bomb of a salary as your first career. 3 campaigns go wrong, and you are thrown out of the organization. Why? Many may not even wait for 3 campaigns to go wrong, even after the first campaign gone wrong. So there's enough understanding of society, people's buying behavior, people's psychographics, what do they believe in, people's demographics, age, sex, location, education, all those things, and people's ethnographics, their roots, where they come from, because all those influence. Someone may be same age, but for different backgrounds have different belief systems. So therefore, if this understanding is clear, understanding of society, understanding of creativity, understanding of market, then you are in advertising and public relations. And the big difference between advertising and public relations, you tell your story, you sell the story in the media. In public relations, you make others talk about you. That's the biggest challenge. So this lady Mahima, if she says, I am beautiful, it's advertising, because she is telling it. She is using a paid space, putting her picture and saying, I am the most beautiful lady out here. So that's easy. You pay for it to the media and tell the story. But if she is making someone else tell, wow, Mahima is beautiful, that's tough. And that's public relations. You have to make a third party endorsement. You have to make someone else talk about you. You talking about yourself, everyone can do that. I just said, I believe I am the best media educator in the country. That's advertising. Do you believe in that? If you believe in that, that's PR. Then the entire environment has succeeded in creating that PR. So please understand, public relations and advertising, one is high on imagination, the other is high on reasoning, the high on in creating impact. So both are required. For brand, both are required. Today, even ground activation has become important, events. Because through events, you engage your audience. So the event is the only medium in which you get your audience in front, face to face. But there's a limitation of numbers. So we had this Bollywood music project, 11,000 people dancing to the songs. That's 11,000 only. So that's event. But a particular channel, I think 9X Music or Jalwa, were live showing that event. So few lakhs people were seeing. So that's mass communication. That's a large mass communication. So event strength is that you directly interact. Limitation is it's limited by numbers. So finally, you don't know which one, but all the 3 are required. Ground activation, on ground, public relations, advertising, offline and online. And when you can take one campaign from offline to online, the gang of girls, Sunsil gang of girls, great thing on the social media, great thing on newspaper ads, great thing on the television, great thing in engaging people on ground through events. So one campaign becomes powerful when all the media converge together to create the brand. So that is the power of advertising. So for those who come into advertising and PR, great technology knowledge, great power of imagination, great observation of people and their behavior, great research abilities. These are required. How do you gain that? For that you have to spend time. Welcome to Pearl.
Okay, so sir, I still have a long list of questions,
One
but
more?
I think we are running out of time.
6 minutes, one more.
So according to you, what has been the usual way of teaching media in India?
भाषण दो, अंग्रेजी लिटरेचर, शेक्सपियर ने ये कहा है, फलाना ने वो कहा है, ओगिलवी ने ये कहा है ना? भाषण दो, बच्चे सुन रहे हैं, नोट लिख रहे हैं, कॉपी कर रहे हैं, जेरोक्स कर रहे हैं आर्टिकल अपना लेक्चर्स को, या पीपीटी कॉपी कर रहे हैं, फिर मुखस्त कर रहे हैं, फिर एग्जाम दे रहे हैं. Come on. Even literature today abroad is not taught in this manner. There cannot be media and communication taught in this manner. You are learning something which is alive. So therefore, every class has to be a workshop. In my opinion, the topic to be discussed must be announced in advance. Even the PPT can be given in advance. What is important is a flipped classroom. Come back, clarify your questions, or let the teacher ask you questions and you answer. If you don't know, let there be debate. And there is nothing right and wrong. Same thing can be told in 5 different ways. We are having a webcast. Yeah. You are asking questions, I am answering. There could be another person in your place asking a different type of questions. There could be another person in my place answering in a different style. So there is nothing like, this is the Veda, and you have to follow this way. This is the Quran. Come on. This is ever evolving, ever nurturing, ever nourishing. So hence media and communication evolves as you move on. Therefore, the classroom also has to evolve. So the classroom must integrate web with video, with audio, with face-to-face talking and interaction all together. That's the first about classroom. Second, how can there be evaluation only by a 3 hours examination? How can you judge a future filmmaker by 180 minutes of film knowledge tested through 22 pages written in a bad handwriting? How can you really judge a person unless the person has actually made a film? And if he or she has made a film, unless the person has gone into every component or department of the film while making it. So judge persons by products, by outcome, by output, by portfolio, and not by written exams alone. Okay, a small percentage can be coming through written exam because university system, college system, there has to be some exams. नहीं तो पढ़ोगे नहीं यार, सिर्फ ज्ञान दोगे, कभी थोड़ा पढ़ना भी ज़रूरी है, तो fine. So it's good. A bit of exam can be there, but the majority of the evaluation has to be through projects. And a good substantial part of evaluation also has to be ongoing. What do you do in classroom? What do you do on an ongoing basis? That also must be there. So that's another big difference of media and communication today. So traditional media education was classroom based, was exam based, was degree based. Modern media and communication education, degree or diploma is immaterial because what is important is learning. By the way, do you know what is Anurag Kashyap's degree? Are you even aware whether he has a film degree or not? Let me tell you, he doesn't have. He has a BTech degree. He just has a BTech degree. Point is, are you really interested in that? He was just interested in Gangs of Wasipur 1 and 2, right? So that's the point. You are interested in the product. You are interested in the outcome. Alik Padamsi, he was a theatre man here. He was an English literature and pass out and theatre man. Doyen of Indian advertising. याद है? ललिता जी की समझदारी क्या? ललिता जी की खरीदारी में ही समझदारी है. Ariel or Surf Excel campaign. You remember that? So therefore, what matters is what you produce. And therefore, what is education in media and communication is what you produce. If you understand this, then the education of media and communication has to focus on portfolio. Every paper, every module, we call module, every module, that's a big difference. Rest places is paper. Even in the earlier institutions is paper or subjects. Today we call module. Module is more interactive, module is more evolving. So, every module must end up with an outcome. Outcome that you can be proud of 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. And a big outcome at the end of the course is like a mega project. Along with that, 1 or 2 internships which you do in live experiences, live internship in organization. If you do that, and if you are introduced to the industry at every level of your education, then only you are an important asset to the industry. Are you studying to become another unemployable graduate? Or you are studying to work from day one, and even not as an apprentice, but as a junior employee, but as a colleague, but as a part of the team, talking on an equal footing with people who are senior to you. If that's the case, then Pearl is the answer. Thank you.
So thank you, sir. I think that's it for today. I think many students are now clear about what they have to do in their future.
I look forward to feedback on the Pearl's Facebook page of what you could learn, what you could understand, or if you could not understand, maybe some of the terminologies I used, you're welcome to ask again. If not face to face, I'll answer through written words. Thank you.